Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Li Wei-Tai. Thank you for joining us. In our top stories, in Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers bring emergency cash and aid supplies to several fire-affected families in Penang. In Taiwan's Hsinchu, volunteers make home visitations in mountain areas with fresh sticky rice dumplings for Dragon Boat Festival. And later, we take you to a famous furniture street in Kaohsiung, Taiwan to meet one furniture repairman who takes great pride in restoring sofas and chairs. Wherever there is a disaster, Tzu Chi volunteers will do their best to get to those in need. In Penang, Malaysia, a fire caused by faulty wiring in a housing complex, which rekindled after it was put out, torched 3 families' homes in just 5 minutes. An employee of the local Jinsi Books and Cafe witnessed the blaze and quickly notified local Tzu Chi volunteers, who showed up promptly with aid.
Though several fire engines showed up to battle the blaze, they could not save the 30-year-old home of Haslina and her family, which burned down in just 5 minutes. Thankfully, Penang's Tzu Chi volunteers promptly showed up with aid and love.
I'm very touched to see that people of a different ethnic group show up to help us. I'm truly touched, even though I have lost so much.
Fortunately, no one was injured or killed. Harslina's young brother says, due to work, he often makes deliveries to the local Jinsi Hall and is thus familiar with Tzu Chi and its volunteers.
Before, I only knew that Tzu Chi is an organization that does charity work, but I didn't know their love is universal. I only learned today that Tzu Chi helps all in need, regardless of their race.
Thanks to Tzu Chi volunteers' prompt response, the 5 victims are given the strength to rebuild their lives.
Moving to Taiwan, the Forestry Bureau's mountain patrolling officers work to safeguard our forests and look after the fauna and flora. After every disaster, these rangers venture into the mountains to assess the damages. In the next report, we join these officers as they examine the forests in central Taiwan after Typhoon Talim passed.
Putting on their vest and hats and getting all the equipment together, Taiwan's mountain rangers are ready to carry out their duty. On Provincial Highway number 21 in the Hese Creek area, the recent typhoon has triggered a landslide, forming a barrier lake. Officers make note of the GPS location and take photos as well.
What we see in front of us is a barrier lake. When we are patrolling the mountains, we need to report this to our supervisors so they can provide appropriate solutions.
Worried for the safety of local residents, the rangers go into mountainous areas for a closer look. Wherever they can't reach by car, the officers travel on their feet.
We travel up and down the mountains quite frequently, so we have had a lot of training. Climbing these hills isn't a problem for us.
Whether it is a tilting tree or damaged roads, they all need to be carefully examined and documented.
When a disaster happens, we will conduct a survey to see if there are damages to the forests and whether the roads are blocked or not, or will it be inconvenient for the residents to travel.
Mountain patrol officers of Taiwan's Forestry Bureau then take this information back to their station, where they put together a detailed report for future reference.
Typhoon Talim dumped a great deal of rain on central and southern parts of Taiwan. In response, the National Highway Bureau has announced that all 12 scenic routes might be closed down in sections preemptively depending on the rainfall. The Suwa-Hualien Highway, one of Taiwan's 10 most dangerous freeways, is also part of the route. In our brand new series on Taiwan's disaster prevention, today we investigate how the highways are monitored and what indices are used before executing road closures. The Suwa-Hualien Highway is one of the most treacherous stretches of road in Taiwan. In preparation of the imminent typhoon and heavy rains, the National Freeway Bureau stands ready to close down the route.
你好，那个我是段长，你那个1.6那个哈，你要加强去巡查哈。会。那大概我都有测量，没有做。那你最好是每个小时都要去查一次哦。好。
Patrolmen are making rounds to every outstation on the freeway, and heavy machinery has already been dropped off at certain points. The Level 1 controlled sections of the highway are monitored 24 hours a day.
This is the section of the road that is classified under Level 1 control because the slopes above it are collapsing due to severe erosion. Every time it rains heavily on the Suao-Hualien Highway, this particular stretch becomes vulnerable. We are monitoring it 24 hours a day.
Back in the traffic control center, several pairs of eyes stay glued to the monitor.
Disaster prevention should cover the entire highway because you never know where it's going to strike. We have set up CCTV that can zoom in 36 times and zoom out. The camera's range is around 500 meters.
The security cameras allow instant inspection of the entire highway. Since torrential rains began battering Taiwan on June 12th, the National Highway Bureau's 4th District Maintenance Construction Office has become an emergency response center. Staff keep a close watch of the central where the Bureau's daily rainfall bulletin to determine road closures.
We have different units monitoring different sections of the freeway and giving feedback accordingly. You can see the flashing icons in red, orange, and yellow, indicating the status of the sections and what the alert levels are. For instance, between Suao to Dongao on Provincial Highway number 9, on the chart there are 3 kinds of combinations that call for road closures. The first, we look at the hourly precipitation. If it reaches 80 millimeters, then we can close off the section. Another variation dictates that if the rainfall reaches 60 millimeters per hour and exceeds 290 millimeters in 24 hours, you have to go ahead for blocking the road.
Timing is everything when it comes to closing roads. However, even with so many rainfall combinations as an index for execution, the increasingly unpredictable weather pattern complicates the decision-making process.
Yesterday in Dongao, the rainfall topped 80 millimeters per hour. We were very tense because that's an indication for road closure. But in just a short while, the rain subsided. What do you do in this instance? If we had gone ahead with the blockage, we would have seen no end of complaints.
To close or not to close? As there is no technology to accurately predict the weather down to the last raindrop, it is the public's responsibility to work with the authorities and be prepared at all times. For Dragon Boat Festival, which happened on Saturday, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hsinchu, Taiwan, brought the customary gift of zongzi to their care recipients living on the mountains of Jianshi Township. Volunteers also remembered to deliver some of the seasonal treats to the hardworking police officers and firefighters serving the township.
Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan Hsinchu travel this mountain path to Jianshi Township on a monthly basis to visit their care recipients. Recently, they've been visiting more frequently.
2 or 3 days ago, when the earthquake struck, we also came to check on the residents.
This time, volunteers brought zongzi and also checked on the residents' health. Each basket that carries Tzu Chi's zongzi is decorated with the word safety, which is the blessing that volunteers want to deliver.
This is a belated blessing. We should have visited during Police Day, but it's okay because now we're celebrating both Duanwu Festival and Police Day.
Over the years, the volunteers have built a strong bond with the local police and fire departments. The freshly made zongzi are for thanking these public servants.
Happy Police Day and Dragon Boat Festival. Bless you. This is very fresh. We only made them this morning. They just came out of the steamers.
Always delivering the best they have. That is the way of Tzu Chi volunteers.
More on Dragon Boat Festival celebrations, but this time in Vancouver, Canada. The city hosted its annual Dragon Boat race that saw the participation of 180 teams. Spectators numbered over 100,000, so the local Tzu Chi office seized the opportunity to set up a store and promote the Buddhist charity's environmental ideals.
The Dragon Boat race in Vancouver, Canada this year drew 180 teams. As the crowd cheers on from the shores, the fragrance of freshly made zongzi from the Tzu Chi stall also draws many.
Mr. Qi Yuan was driven to a remote area.
Explaining the story behind the festival and the origin of zongzi, Tzu Chi's vegetarian version uses bean curd instead of pork. It is less oily and healthier, and those who tried it loved it.
People of all different ethnicities are here to celebrate Dragon Boat Festival. At the same time, they are enjoying vegetarian food, which helps our environment.
On the second day of the event, 150 volunteers were mobilized to help maintain the environment. They pick up trash wherever they find it and stand around trash cans to help sort recyclables, reopening bags of trash if they have to.
Rather than spacing out sitting on the grass, I might as well come here and do something. It's better for my body and the planet.
On display at the Tzu Chi store are also green products made from recycled materials by DaAi technology. Many passerby are inspired to also do their part for the planet.
Still in Vancouver, the local Tzu Chi office is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. The office plans to publish a book titled Number 1, which documents volunteers' work in the country over the past 2 decades. To help with the project, staff at the Tzu Chi headquarters in Hualien, Taiwan often stayed up till the small hours for online discussions with Vancouver Tzu Chi volunteers.
It's so nice to have so many people show up. This is really touching.
Liang Miaokuan from the Tzu Chi Foundation office in Hualien is sacrificing her sleep to join media volunteers in Canada's Vancouver Tzu Chi office in a meeting on writing. Having published a book herself, Liang is helping her fellow Canadian counterparts who want to publish a book on Tzu Chi's work in Canada.
When it comes to English interviews, we write out the English words, but behind the conversation, in parentheses, we have to include the Chinese translation.
The book, titled Number 1, will document Tzu Chi's 20 years of service in the country and how the Buddhist charity slowly gained recognition and became a role model for citizens and NGOs. At first, it seemed no one was ready to take on the challenging task. However, from the showing of 16 volunteers present, it looks like the book is off to a good start.
To thank long-term Tzu Chi members who donate regularly to the NGO and to encourage them to take on a greener diet, Tzu Chi volunteer Feng Qiuyue of Taipei's Songshan district recently organized a gathering for members, neighbors and friends. At the event, the stories shared reaffirmed for the attendants that to be able to give is a great blessing.
Tzu Chi volunteer Feng Qiuyue of Taipei Songshan district is inviting regular donors to her house for a tea party. Listening to Master Zheng Yan's teachings, members also share the happiness they have gained from doing good deeds.
My mother is 86-year-old this year, and she volunteers at Tzu Chi every day. In the morning, she goes straight to the recycling station, and she always sorts recyclables till the afternoon before going home.
Great love has no boundaries. Our sister also shared with us how Tzu Chi is such a wonderful organization. I think in the future, when I get the opportunity, we will all try to participate.
To welcome her guest, Cho Yue prepared delicious vegetarian dishes, hoping to inspire the compassion in others to take on a meatless diet as well. Hand in hand, Cho Yue's house is one filled with love and warmth.
It is because of Tzu Chi that we are so closely connected with one another.
Sanming Street is a famed furniture street in Kaohsiung's Fengshan area in Taiwan. At its peak, the street was occupied by over 100 furniture shops. As low-cost furniture take over the market, business gradually went into decline. Nowadays, buying new furniture rather than repairing broken pieces has become a norm. Seeing how much that goes to waste every year, furniture craftsman Wu Dingcai decided to take on furniture repairs to prolong the lives of household items and reduce waste.
If you want to buy furniture in Kaohsiung, the first place you'll look is Sanming Street in Fengshan area. Although the street is only 300 to 400 meters long, there are as many as 100 furniture stores. On the famed furniture street in Fengshan, every shop has been in business for at least a few decades.
We're second-generation owners. My father has been here for about 60 years. When we were at Lugang, my father was a carpenter, and he heard there was a furniture street in Fengshan where the furniture shops gathered, and so we came here to do business.
The father of the furniture shop owner is a carpenter from Lugang. He came to Fengshan and started his own furniture business. On the furniture street, many stores share a similar background. More than a century ago, people began to congregate on this street because of its proximity to the port. On either end of the street are two century-old temples that brought business to the area.
The street here is wide enough for an ox cart to pass through. It seems small now, but it was a big street in the past. We have mattress shops, a ghost street at the center, and comforter stores. You name it, we have it. You can fulfill all your dowry needs here.
With the increase of imported household items, business have declined for the furniture street. The furniture in the shop still gleam and compete for attention. However, no matter how stylish a piece of furniture is, it cannot stay new forever. If you have a damaged sofa, repairman Wu Dingcai can help you fix it. Today he is working on a broken hairdressing chair. Taking the components of the chair apart, one by one Wu tackles the problems. All of the broken parts must be replaced. The most frequent problem is the scratches and cuts on the leather.
Most of the damage is the tear on leather. Others are broken screws or hardware.
The repairman then puts in the foam cushion before giving the chair new leather.
The frame has to be right to get the shape right, and for it to show the corners nicely. It's very tight, like a brand new one.
With 40 years of hard work behind him, now 60 years old, Wu tells us about his apprenticeship in a sofa factory after he finished primary school.
If we didn't do a good job, our masters would scold us. They would beat us and yell at us for everything. It's quite frightening. We didn't use foam in the past. We stuffed straw instead. The material is different. We went from straw to foam. It's different but much easier now.
In his apprentice years, he learned a solid craft. Many years ago, Wu Dingcai left the sofa factory because he often saw damaged sofas lying on the sides of the streets.
Those chairs can't be fixed. They are too new to be discarded. Some of them are only a little scratched, but they are thrown out. It's a waste. Just fix it and clean it. It will look brand new and can last for another 5 to 6 years.
Wu was sad to see people throwing their sofas away just because there is no one to repair them. Hence, he started his repairing career. Although low-cost furniture stores are more popular than ever and fewer people care to have their sofas repaired, Wu continues to provide his service.
One customer thought I was going to do a mediocre job, but when I was done, it looked brand new. I think I have not wasted the years learning the craft.
Wu Dingcai's dexterous hands not only give ruined sofas a second lease on life, but also contribute to garbage reduction. The sense of accomplishment he gets is more satisfying than making a sofa from scratch.
Poor circulation to the limbs is a common problem faced by many elderly. Recently, 104-year-old Ms. Huang checked into the Taipei Tzu Hospital complaining of cold feet and numbness. With a quick surgical procedure, doctors were able to help solve her problem and have her back home in time for the Dragon Boat Festival.
Taipei Tzu Hospital staff celebrates the discharge of the now healthy 104-year-old Grandma Huang. The senior checked into the hospital 2 days prior with numbness in her left leg and discoloring in her toes due to poor circulation. However, cardiologist Huang Shenli opened up the blocks in Grandma Huang's blood vessels with a quick surgical procedure.
After the surgery, the blood flow can now get to the bottoms of her feet, and her feet will feel warmer. We have also given her medicine to control her condition, and asked her to come in for regular checkups.
The rapid and successful treatment means that Grandma Huang will be home in time to spend Dragon Boat Festival with her family. In their thanks, her family sent the doctors a basket of zongzi.
Being able to leave the hospital in 2 days is a miracle as far as I'm concerned. I want to thank Dr. Huang for helping prolong Grandma's life and easing her pain. I also want to thank him on Grandma's behalf.
High-tech medical treatment and old-fashioned love have helped this centenarian recover in time for the holidays.
A benefit concert was held in Langkawi, Malaysia, to raise funds for Tzu Chi's new dialysis clinic and education center. Before we bring you the images, I would like to say that it's been a privilege to be a part of DaAi Headlines for the past 4 years. Thank you for your support, and we shall definitely meet again. Take care and goodbye for now.